Okay, dokie everyone, it's mock draft time. We're busy getting these mocks done, so we're all learning what's going to happen. Come May, when we are doing our rookie drafts, the season might be not until September, October, 7 months away, 6 months away. But your rookie draft, your startup auction as well, is the most important part of the year. With us we had Tony, Scott, Roger and Mark. I think Mark was drafting at the 1 position. If I remember rightly, Roger was at 2, Tony was at the middle in 3, Roger was at 4, and I took part in this one at 5. We did a snake, we did 2 rounds, 5 picks each, up to pick 25. Without further ado, first pick was the standard 101 in most Superflex mocks at the moment, and that was Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State. Now, you've all seen the tape. You've all seen the combine, or I hope you all have. He's cemented. There's some people calling him as a top 5 running back in Dynasty already. It's a bit much for me, bit rich for me, but he's still the 101 in your Superflex. Now, at the 102, we had the Liberty quarterback Malik Willis. Now, strategy and roster strategy might take a big part for me. If I'm tanking and I've got no chance of competing, I might take Malik Willis at 101. I know a lot of people will say, take Breece Hall, you can trade him. But it's the same as trade back. Nobody wants to trade up in drafts. Or if they do, they're not willing to pay what you expect normal years to get. It's not happening. It's not happening. I've not seen it in any of my leagues, any of the leagues I'm in. I've not seen MD pay a sizable amount, overpay, to move up 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. The only one I've seen, I think, was a first to go from 110 to 101, and that's a massive leap though. I mean, most years you wouldn't get away with 110 to 101 for the first. It's not happening. So yeah, sometimes you have to think what's good for you, what's good for your team in the long run. If drafting Malik Willis at the 101's best, then do it. I hear this, oh, you can trade. Bullshit, man. Bullshit. You've got Breece Hall on a team of garbage. Okay? Now you're either going to keep him for his peak 3-4 years of his career. If you're lucky, at the end of that 3-4 years, your team might be contending for the championship. If it's a trash can, you're not. So get your quarterback. If he's a bust, he's a bust. It's not cost you anything. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, it's cost you the championship because I took Malik Willis and he busted. No, it's just put you a year back in your rebuild, that's all. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And then you say Breece Hall, you can trade him. Okay, who are you trading him to? Those guys that are picking at 102, 103, 104? Yeah, they're not going to buy him. They're not going to pay the price you want to buy him. So now you're looking at the guys, the championship contenders. What are they going to pay you? 2 firsts? Oh, yeah, whoopie-doo. The 112 and the 112. Wow. Who really wants the 112 and the 112 when you could have the 101? Yeah, come on guys, come on. So yeah, the first 2, standard 2 across most rookie draft mocks at the moment. Breece Hall, Malik Willis. At 103, we had our first, a little bit of a surprise, but I certainly can't fault the pick. We had Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Now, he's part of that elite three for me: Wilson, London, and Burks. As far as I'm concerned, you can put them in whatever order you want. They're the tier 1 wide receivers of this class. Everyone's got their own preference. The only thing I would think is, do you take him over running back? But if it's your guy, you take him. So yeah, he's been at Ohio State. He's been competing with Chris Olave, Jackson Smith, and he's produced the numbers. Good combine. You're not going to go much wrong with Garrett Wilson at the 103. Then at the 104 we had Kenneth Walker from Michigan, running back. I was a bit disappointed to see him go there. I was hoping I'd be able to snatch him at the 105. But yeah, Kenneth Walker was my running back one. He had a decent combine. He just got blown away by Breece Hall, and there's no disgrace in that. Kenneth Walker, he's got the ability to become a 3-down back. I know a lot of people say he didn't do much pass catching, but he was in a program in a school where they don't throw to the running back much. It's run, and that's it, you know. So then myself picking at 105 and 106, I'm not big on Spiller. I think he's just below those tier 1 guys. So for me, the value is my tier 1 wide receivers, and the two that were left were Drake London from USC and Treylon Burks from Arkansas. So yeah, they're my tier 1 wide receivers. A little step ahead of my next one, which we'll go into later. So picking up these two wide receivers at 5 and 6, I'm happy with that all day long. You know, I've been saying for about 5-6 weeks now I've got a top tier of 6. The 2 running backs that have already gone, the quarterback that's already gone, and now the 3 wide receivers have gone. That's my top 6. It's not going to change. Not going to change. You could tell me Kenny Pickett's going to Pittsburgh. Doesn't crack my top 6. You can tell me Chris Olave is going to Kansas. Doesn't crack my top 6. Bloody close, right? Okay, 107 we had George Pickens, Georgia wide receiver. Now, again, some people might think that's a bit of a reach, but personally, I'm happy with the pick. I think it's a good, solid pick. If you're confident that there could be no setback from no long-term setback from the injury, you know, first 2 years at college, he was all set to be the wide receiver 1 this year. You know, wasn't for the injuries, so you like your guy, you get him. He's certainly in that tier along with Olave and JMO. Now, I'm probably a little bit higher on Olave and a bit lower on Jameson Williams. So I'm not faulting the 107. The only thing I think, possibly Spiller. Talking of Spiller, Isaiah Spiller, running back, he went at our 108. Again, I think he's just below the top 2 at the moment, but a mile ahead of the 4th running back in the class. So picking him up at 108, you're going to be happy. Again, the only problem is, maybe you prefer a wide receiver, but he's the last really draftable running back in this class, I think. And if you're confident you can get a wide receiver later, then I think it's a good, solid pick. 109, Chris Olave, wide receiver. Now, I touched briefly on him earlier. I can't understand the hate in the Dynasty community for Chris Olave. You know, he's talking about wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6. You know, I've seen some mocks, he's out in the first round. And yet, you know, NFL analysts, you know, guys that actually work for teams, you know, they're all looking at him, they're all saying he's a first round pick. First, second, third, at worst, 4th wide receiver taken in the NFL draft. So I think they know more than me, you know. But hey ho, Dynasty community, they want to hate on a guy, they're going to hate on a guy. The good thing is, for people like me, people like you, got a bit of sense. We don't just follow the flock. We like to run amok and do what the hell we want. So yeah, Chris Olave, I think he's undervalued. I think he's underdrafted, and I think he could be a very, very good wide receiver. Next up with Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama at the 110. Now, I've got my doubts. I know a lot of people are putting him as a wide receiver one even, but I've got the doubts with the injury. I've got the doubts with the transfer from Ohio. You know, I mean, how can you put Jameson Williams above Chris Olave? You know, Chris Olave kept Jameson Williams out of the Ohio team. You know, again, the guys, the coaches, the staff at Ohio, they know more than me. They know more than 99% of the dynasty community. So that's telling you something. You know? When you get a beat of information, you use it, you store it, and you do what's best for you. 111. Now, finally get another quarterback off the board. Kenny Pickett at 111. Again, no problem with the pick as far as rankings go and all that. What I would say again with draft strategy, if you're picking at the 111, you're probably a contender team. You know, so unless it's been traded, of course. Now, if you've been a team that's traded and got that pick, Kenny Pickett is an excellent quarterback for you, especially if you went Breece Hall, Drake London, something like that early on, Kenneth Walker. You know, if you got one of those picks at the 101, 103, 104, absolutely great to come back and get Kenny Pickett at the 111. However, if the contending team, the finalist teams, didn't trade away their first, at 111, 112, they're contenders again next year, they're not drafting a quarterback. So there's a high chance all these quarterbacks slide into the 113, the toilet bowl pick, or slide into the second round. So there's a lot of value in the quarterbacks in the early second round for me. 111 personally, I'll go to that later. 112, Zamir White, running back. Again, I still think there's a few wide receivers I'd be taking above him. Gets the right right draft capital, good landing spot. He could just about be worthy of that pick. Personally, as I say, there's two wide receivers, and I think you'll see them coming up in a wee minute. 113, the toilet bowl pick, went Sam Howell, quarterback. Bit of a shock seeing him go before Matt Corral, but they did go back to back with Corral going at 201. So just as I was saying earlier on, quarterbacks sliding all the time down this rookie draft boards. I think this is about our 4th or 5th rookie mock we've done alone, and we're seeing them come down all the time. I mean, there was a time Corral, Pickett, Willis, they were all top 5, and now, you know, what have we got? Two in the first round, 3, 1 in the first 10. You know, we're all getting wiser. We're all getting smarter. We're realising this rookie class, first round, is all about those elite top 3 running backs, and then wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, and they're all good wide receivers, so they're going to play for you. 1 or 2 might be a bust. There's no sure thing. Nobody can predict for certain that somebody's going to be a bust or a stud. You know, that's why we're all sat at home playing our $50 tournaments, putting our £5 wagers on at the weekend. You know, we're not Calvin Ridley putting on a grand for a game, which he thinks is chicken feed. Christ, wish I had a grand to put on. But never mind, I don't gamble. Right, myself was picking nets finally. Now, I picked Jahan Dotson first, but I think if I was on the 202 and Christian Watson was available, I'd have took Christian Watson, in all honesty. But I took Christian Watson here at the 203. 2 wide receivers. As I say, to me personally, if I'm picking at 111 or 112, and my tier 2 wide receivers have gone, then I'm probably going to pick one of those two at 111, 112 and avoid the quarterbacks and running backs personally. Christian Watson has been getting a lot of hype. When I made this pick in the a little bit of chat, who picked what, blah, blah. Why's Watson gone at 203? Well, I think 203 might be about the lowest you're going to see him go. He's just climbing up draft boards, rookie mocks, NFL mocks. Climb. I mean, there's talk of him being in the first round of the NFL draft. If he's in the first round of the NFL draft, he's in the first round of the rookie mock draft as well. So yeah, I'm delighted, absolutely delighted to get both of those two at the 202, 203. 204, back to the quarterback, Desmond Ridder. Again, personally, I've got him as my 4. I've got him as my QB4 ahead of Howell. 204, again, it's a solid spot. You're likely not a contending team. You're picking up a quarterback for the future. Great rushing upside. Got that Konami code. So to pick up, I would assume you took one of those elite wide receivers at the 104. So to get your quarterback for the future at 204, it's just great for a rebuild. Great for a rebuild. See, that's the thing. When we talk about picks, a lot of people think, right, that's great. Oh, he's not going to help you. Oh, blah, this, that. We have to remember it's dynasty again. What helps your team in 3 years' time is more important than what helps your team next year. Even if you're a contending team, you've always got to be looking 2, 3, 4, 5 years in advance. Similarly, when we rip a roster apart, the first thing we look for is quarterback. If you can get your quarterback, franchise quarterback, 10, 15 years, happy days. It's the same as in the real NFL. Why do you think quarterbacks go 101, 102, 103 in the drafts? That franchise quarterback is the most important thing. After a quarterback, you could say tight end, we go tight end premium, but rookie tight ends historically don't perform. So if I'm doing a rebuild and absolutely ripped it apart, after quarterback, if I can't get quarterbacks that I'm looking for, it's wide receiver. Again, the shelf life of wide receiver, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Running back, 4, 5. By the time that running back is past his peak and is on that downslope, your team is on the upslope. Your team is starting to become a contender. And now you're going to lose those stud running backs. So all that time you were crap and you were building and you were building. I'm going to be a contender. I'm going to be a contender. Now you've got all the pieces, but your running backs are over the cliff. So my advice, always make sure you've got your young wide receivers and your young quarterback. Then you can get your running back last, and then you're a contender. Finally, on this mock, we had David Bell at 205. Now, David Bell's come in for a lot of hate. He's not done much wrong. He had a good solid season. Tape looks good. A lot of people say disappointed at the combine. But those that know better will tell you that he did just exactly what was expected of him. He didn't disappoint like Kyren Williams. He just did exactly what everyone thought he would do. He didn't shine, but he did what everyone thought he would do. If you were picking David Bell at the 201, 112, chances are you're still picking him there. You like what you saw, and nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is that some people shone, like Christian Watson, and have overtaken him. So it's not a slight on David Bell at all. Finally, rounding off this mock, we had at the 206, Justin Ross, wide receiver from Clemson. He's climbing up the boards, up and down like a yo-yo sometimes. So I just don't know where I'm placing him at the moment. 206, yeah, he's in that next round with Meche, Tolbert, Austin, Shakir. Is it not? Trying to think of the other one. Can't remember that one. But he's in that next group, the tier 4, tier 5 sort of group. And he's, well, we've got him here at the 206. I've seen him as bad as the 306. I've seen him at the 212. It fluctuates so dramatically. He's one of them guys, if you like him, depending where you're picking and where you're picking next, just take him, yeah. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, thanks everyone. We're going to get cracking on with mocks. Unfortunately, I've got to do a bit of work this week, so don't know when I'm going to be back to you. But thanks for watching. And we look forward to doing some more mock drafts and some more trade analysis. Bye for now.